Hey, it's Zach with a podcast named Tim, here with a Star Wars book review. As I mentioned in one of my recent videos, I love Star Wars and read all the books, and so I'd like to start doing some of these videos for Star Wars book reviews and comic books as well. And today I'm going to do Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Crash of Fate by Zoraida Córdova. I can never say her name. Miss Córdova, who again wrote this book. Came out in August of 2019, of course, published by Disney Lucasfilm Press. And I did the audiobook. I strictly do audiobooks pretty much at this point. And it is an interesting book, I guess. And I guess before we get into it, let me just say, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And for upcoming potential books that we're going to be discussing, it's going to be Shadowfall, which is the second in the Alphabet Squadron series, and then the new Thrawn Ascendancy book. Those are the upcoming two ones, and then the new Certain Point of View book that's coming out for Empire Strikes Back. Those are going to be some of the book reviews or some of the books that I'm listening to on audiobook, and so those will be some of the reviews coming out. This book was, of course, a young adult book that came out again in 2019. It is, of course, promoting Galaxy's Edge, the Disney Star Wars park area. They released this, Galaxy's Edge Black Spire, which was the adult novel, and a mini-series for the comics. There's about 4 or 5 issues. And I've read all of those as well. And I would say that this is the weakest of the 3 Star Wars Galaxy's Edge lead-up books. It's not bad. I mean, the thing with Star Wars is they produce so much content, from comics to shows, books. There's just so much stuff that there's a lot of average. I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just you can only tell so many great stories. And, this one I would say falls in the average category. I don't think it's because it's a young adult novel, because Star Wars, especially since Disney's taken over, has proven they can produce a lot of great young adult content, from the TV shows like the animated series, which are probably in some respects young adult, to a lot of their books. You have Lost Stars, which is probably my favorite, by Claudia Gray. It's probably my favorite Star Wars canon book since Disney bought it. And so you have that. You have Princess Leia, Princess of Alderaan. You have, which are both great. And Queen Shadow was great as well, about Princess or Padme Amidala. Queen's Peril didn't like as much. And the Ahsoka book, I know a lot of other people really like that. I was not as big of a fan on this. I think this is kind of right in the middle for all of the young adult books. But generally speaking, the book is about Izzy Garcia and Jules Racab. They are 2 children who grow up on Batuu, which is the area you visit at the park. And basically they are lifelong friends, get separated because of we don't find out. This is going to be spoiler free. I'll put it in it's in the description. I just want to give my general thoughts. It is they get separated. Basically, Izzy goes on to become a low-level smuggler. She's not really making it big. She doesn't have a name yet. She's not running around with any of the big crews or any of the big huts. And Jules stays back at Batuu, and we get to see Black Spire Outpost. Jules is very much just kind of like he's a farmer. He wants adventure in some respects. The Luke Skywalker, he wants to go out and see the world, but he doesn't. He just stays there. And a lot of the story focuses on them years later, where we jump forward, and Izzy has to go back to Black Spire to deliver a package for a job, and these 2 old friends reunite. And of course, they're older. There's a lot of heavy romance in this. And I don't mean that in a bad way. That's just the focus of the book. It's much more. It's these 2 characters, which from the jump that they're going to be falling in love, and you're just kind of waiting to see how they're going to do it, or when we're going to get there. In some respects, even with like a 7-hour roughly runtime in the audiobook, you're kind of like, all right, we know these 2 are going to get along and they're going to get together. Let's get to it. And you're just kind of waiting for that. They have a very teasing attitude towards each other. But the best thing about the book, I think, is we get to see a lot of the Black Spire Outpost. We get to see Hondo and Doc Ondar's place, and we get to meet all these interesting characters that are there. But again, I think with the other books, like the comics, and specifically the other book that came out, the adult book. I think that it does a much better job of showcasing Batu and still introducing all the characters and the planet and everything. But overall, I would say an average story, good characters, well written. There's nothing wrong there with the writing. It's a book, though, that it sometimes, at least from the audio perspective, when you listen to the audiobook, you kind of fade out and just zone out for a few minutes or a chapter and still not really miss anything. But not bad. If it's somewhat skippable. But again, it's Star Wars. They produce so much content. It's okay. There's going to be books that aren't, 5-star. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It's an average book. And if you're running out of Star Wars books to read and you just need something else, or if you're going to be going down to the park and you want to learn about what's down there, then that's probably when I'd recommend to check it out. Other than that, this will be the first, again, of the book reviews. Let us know what you'd be interested in, what you're reading. Hoping to do some comics as well. Especially, I'm really excited to do it once we get to the High Republic early next year. So that's pretty much it. See you next time here on A Podcast Named Tim.